Hi everyone. Okay, so for this class we had to create a social media campaign strategy for an organization of our choice and basically provide rationale for why we selected that organization and who the target audiences is, etc. So I decided to, let me just get this up really quick. There we go. Okay, so my presentation is on Iris. Oh, let me go back. Is on Iris, and that is an integrated refugee and immigrant services. They're located right there in New Haven, and I actually volunteered with Iris, and I'm currently volunteering with them. I started just over Thanksgiving break, and I've been continuing that with them, and hopefully into the new year when I come back. So the overview of the organization, basically they are dedicated to helping refugees and other displaced people establish new lives, regain hope, and contribute to the vitality of Connecticut communities. And that was pulled off of their mission statement from their actual website. Iris resettles between 250 to 300 refugees each year. That has, as you can see the note in the bottom here, there has been a massive increase in terms of Syrian refugees specifically that are coming to Connecticut. Connecticut is a state. They released it just a few weeks ago. Governor Malloy released that Connecticut would welcome refugees, and because of the mass influx in Syrian refugees in particular from other states that aren't welcoming refugees, they are coming to Connecticut and they're coming to Iris. So here are their clients, particularly as I mentioned, Syria, Afghanistan, the Congo, Cuba, Ethiopia, Iran, Sudan, etc. So mainly countries from the Middle East and also West Africa. And here's my campaign. So I'm basically pitching Iris, their Run for Refugees times two. They do have a Run for Refugees set up already, but I would like to add on to that and do a little additional part of the campaign. So what's the primary goal of the campaign essentially? It's basically to establish and maintain Iris as Connecticut's leader in refugee and immigration services. The secondary goal from that then is to introduce the Times 2 Run for Refugees program to the publics and generate awareness on the tough situations that refugees are facing. So often than not they come here and we don't actually, in the Western world, don't get an actual idea or have never shared the experiences that they're having. But I'll talk about that later on. And then I had another secondary goal, which was to welcome all members of the local community to celebrate the grand opening of the new Iris building. So in the new year, they will be moving buildings just right across the street. So that again, as a way, this campaign is going to tie in the new location of Iris. So the Run for Refugees times two will take place on September 23rd, 2016. And the event will allow participants to engage in basically a simulation that replicates some of the struggles and choices that refugees must face in order for survival. There we go. So you can see the whole thing. So basically, yeah, as I mentioned, I know we did something similar to that last year within residential life. We had a Bobcat Boundaries, which was like a simulation tunnel, and it was during Diversity Week. And it was, for students, it's very, very productive in terms of the experiences. You experienced what it's like to be homeless. You experience what's like to face racial discrimination. You experience what it's like to go home and tell your parents that you're gay, etc., etc. So I kind of used that template and try to apply it to the refugee problem that we're currently having. So location, as I mentioned, it will take place in the new Iris building located in 240 Nickel Street, which is right down in New Haven. And the event will kind of coincide with the celebration of the grand opening of the new Iris building. Target audiences, we will be focusing on current supporters. Basically, the main goal there is to continue their support in Iris and supporting all refugees in New Haven. So former refugees, current refugee employers is something that is pretty neat. I contacted one of the outreach employment officers, Owen Davis, and I talked with him a little about, how important it is to basically get these people jobs. So they will definitely be part of our current supporters as well as our potential supporters. Iris donors, employees, volunteers, media sources, people that are following the story of Iris and, following the story of the refugee immigration into Connecticut and into Iris in particular. And then City and New Haven Mayor and the humanitarian aid groups within New Haven and Connecticut statewide also. And then in terms of all potential and supporters, our goal will kind of slightly change. It'll be our main goal will be to try and engage potential publics to get involved and support the work that Iris does. So, as a non-profit organisation, Iris is always looking for potential and supporters, potential donors, people that are just going to support the cause and support the work that Iris is doing. So we will reach out to all local New Haven broadcast and print media organisations, Fox Connecticut and other CT media organisations, corporate sponsors, potential refugee employers. Again, that, as I mentioned, the outreach employment director, it is critical for him to have potential employers for him to reach out to, because it kind of becomes, if you reach out to one employer about let's say 10-15 different clients, there's an overload there, so you're always looking for that new avenue of employment for refugees. And then local businesses and public services, as well as international groups that are active in New Haven. So let's talk about the content pillars. The primary goal content pillars will be refugees news articles and press releases about Iris, and that will basically help build the credibility of the organisation statewide. We will be focusing on the face of the refugee, which is basically going to be a program, the refugee stories that are shared and help bring each story to life, as well as credit the work of Iris. So that'll be something that will again share that experience with users online. And the secondary goal content pillar is all event building updates to ensure that current and potential supporters are aware of the who, what, where, when of the event. The integrated plan for Run for Refugees ×2. So that we will be having brochures in the office, and they will be delivered to donors via mail. We will have a list of donors. Iris have a list of donors on a database. We will basically be sending them out constant contact marketing software via email, as well as a hard copy in the mail. Volunteers that work within Iris, they will set up a booth at local college spring career fairs, or even as an informational booth throughout the spring semester, and basically just prior to the campaign, promoting it, trying to get young people engaged, trying to get students, to maybe potentially intern at Iris, and really actively take part in this Run for Refugee ×2 campaign. We will frequently post on all 3 social media accounts. I think we have learned in this class specifically that social media is really a crux in terms of the organization's success and how they can really engage the consumer. Well, as I mentioned, constant contact marketing software, when the newsletter is sent out to all Iris contacts via email. And then the local and statewide media organizations are contacted for coverage purposes. Again, that is critical to hit local media organizations, where there be, the New Haven News Channel, the local New Haven News Channel, even local Hamden News Channel, and even local college, broadcast and print media. So let's talk social media. We have the 3 main: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram will be our 3 primary social media accounts. Our hashtag will be refugees welcome. We will establish a Facebook account, because Iris do have a Facebook account right now, but we will not be using that. We will be linking up an entire new Facebook account for this particular campaign. We'll post educational articles on refugees, updates on the event, post pictures, etc. And then, as an engagement example, we could do like a status that will say, if we generate, 50, 100, 150, 200 likes before, revealing the promotional video for the event. So, hey, we like to announce that we're having this campaign, etc. Who likes this? I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head, like, if we hit 50 likes, we'll release a video today by 4 p.m. or whatever. We'll establish a Twitter account. Updates on the event, we'll use that primarily for pictures of like setups, plans, updates from on-site meetings, and trying to get refugee faces, trying to get refugees active in planning this entire campaign, and trying to get some of the pictures of on-site meetings, etc. And then in terms of the Instagram account, we will use a hashtag Iris and hashtag RFR, which basically stands for Run for Refugees. We use pictures, competitions to generate awareness and get our word trending on Instagram. And we would generate hashtag trends on Instagram and include monthly Instagram competitions as a way for our followers to, not only for us to hear from our followers, but for our followers to basically start trends and get us really kicking on social media, and particularly on Instagram. So here's an example of some of the 5 Facebook posts that I would definitely post. Want a sneak peek of the 2015 refugee run? Hit 100 likes and we'll release a teaser video. Check out the Iris feature in this week's Register. Shout out to New Haven Register journalist who state his or her name for supporting our work, Iris. The Face of the Refugee. Check out this week's interview on the name of the refugee from whatever country they're from. Welcome, their name again, Iris RFR. And again, this is kind of ways for us to relate. We relate with people, we relate with personal stories. So I definitely think the Face of the Refugee would work. And then down here, kind of, you know, as we get closer to the actual campaign, we're only 2 months away from the refugee run. Hit like to support and feel free to donate to our live GoFundMe page at link RFR #Iris. So then we'd have several refugees hard at work putting the final touches into 2015. It should be 2016 refugee run t-shirt design. Thoughts RFR #Iris. Twitter posts, again, same thing with the video, but we kind of switch it here to make it specific to Twitter. We'd have the 50 retweets, and then again, same thing within Facebook, this right here. We want to hear from you. Tweet your questions about RFR 2016 to us, Iris RFR. The Face of the Refugee, check out this week's interview. It's the same thing again, and as you can see, this is kind of specific to Twitter. Instagram. Competition time. Best caption for this photo wins a prize. Iris RFR picture. Check out the Iris feature in this week's Register. Same thing as the Facebook. We want to hear from you. So, you know, Instagram is a lot more in terms of more personable. We want pictures. We want lots of pictures trending. We want to be able to type in #Iris or #RFR, and we want a bunch of pictures to come up so we can feed that through our Facebook and really generate some noise and generate some presence online. And then at the very bottom here, a massive thank you to Name from local employer who's just donated $100 towards the $100 towards the RFR 2015. Thank you, picture included. So we'd have a picture of, you know, a local employer who donated the money, and we'd have an Irish representative or a refugee go out to that particular person and take a picture on site. That is my campaign plan for Iris. If any of you have any questions, please feel free to respond. I'd like to hear from you also, Professor, if you have any questions about the campaign. And if that's it, then Run for the Refugee ×2, are you in for these little kids? Thank you very much. Bye bye.